Christian tradition that we have. Said that if we are going to study art in these areas, we have to widen our definition of art, what we are artists.
Well, when I went away and researched this magazine called Badoon, which is going to be represented at the documentary this year, it's been published since 2004. It's a quarterly magazine. So I think I've got 3 magazines missing, but that's most of them now. They've got their offices in New York, they're printed in Canada, and they're circulated worldwide, although it's very difficult to get the magazines into Iran. The cover price is £6 or $10 US, €8. The print run has risen from 5,000 to 15,000 in 2 years. It's written in English because they want to reach the widest audience. Now Sergio has been encouraging us to be detectives and to find out who's behind everything and how things fit together and how all these networks fit together. And we've all found people that fit in the same circle. It's been fascinating. And one of the things we're encouraged to find out about is how things are funded. So you go through every single magazine, you look on the web and you spend hours, including today, trying to find out who funds this magazine. And I couldn't find anything anywhere. The woman who is in charge of it, the chief curator, is Iranian, and her name, well, not her family name, crops up as being there are several sort of construction firms in the US and in Iran, so I just presume it's private money. Each edition is curated, and they're curated on themes. So one is on tourism, that one's on tourism. That's the latest one. Most recent magazine is called Ruler, and so they are curated, but they are not just about visual arts, they're about literature and about things from the Middle East. What they say about themselves, so this is a quote: Badoon magazine was created as a platform for ideas and an open forum for exchange, dialogue and opinions about arts and culture from the Middle East. Badoon's primary goal is to bring together cultural expressions from a vast, nuanced region. Badoon also addresses some of the widespread misconceptions about the region and its diaspora by inciting readers to take a fresh look at the Middle East and its peoples, too often presented as one-dimensional or stagnant. Badoon means without in both Arabic and Farsi, and in our contemporary context it connotates the statelessness in which many of us find ourselves, sometimes voluntarily and sometimes not. Badoon is not limited by political boundaries drawn onto maps. Its very essence is the fluidity of geographies and the challenge of the myth of singular and absolute representation. Yet we are cautious with our role as cultural broker. While we acknowledge the reductionist tendencies of Orientalism, Badoon also resists obsessing over cultural differences. This is not about being authoritative. Rather, Badoon is an experiment, a collection of voices whose sum total aims to engage. I would really recommend this magazine. It's fantastic. It's got all those things in it. So Lisa Pajam, who's the editor-chief, she's born in '77 in the US of Iranian parents. She seems to have a co-founded the first edition and writes in several of them. She talks about herself and how she couldn't do nothing else except the magazine, really. But she does like cooking and boxing. And it turns out that the co-founder is called Brian Ackley, and all I could find out about him, apart from the fact that he's written a few articles, is that he's a journalist and he covers women's boxing in the States. So there's a connection there. And the writers, I mean, I've written a whole document about the writers and the curators who are involved in the magazine. They're often involved in other projects that we've discussed today. And the artists are all co-related and mingle. And in all our researches, we discovered about visiting arts and the Triangle Trust and things like that. And they all kind of interconnect. So that was very interesting. And also the international platforms that we're doing this time. There's a thing called the United Nations Plaza that's carried on from a manifesto, and that's in Berlin this year, and one of the main curators in Badoon is very heavily involved in that, in the organisation of that. He often curates exhibitions in different galleries and then they're discussed in here, or he'll write articles on the curated theme of the magazine. So, for example, if that's tourism, he'll write anything about tourism or curating tourism. But often the so-called Middle Eastern artists that I've studied, as reported in the magazine, live in the UK or the USA. So I think, which is something that we all seem to come back to, is that we need to see ourselves as citizens of the world, as people, artists, curators. We need to see making art as a way of understanding deeper questions, not just as strapline information of national identity. I think we need to discuss what makes a great show or how it got there. I'm interested in the layers of information these curators achieve through putting work together, and I want to know how other curators get their audience involved. In the news this week, obviously, there's the awful atrocity that happened in the American college campus, the example of a horrendous massacre committed by a deeply psychologically disturbed person who happens to be Korean. And in the articles I've been reading, the other Korean students have fled the college in fear of reprisals. So we're all just people, and we should not be categorised by nationality. Curators, if they choose art to represent the 21st century, should try and avoid classification within the quality field.
Why that particular label?
Yes, but it's not your idea.
Well, not but I mean, but then the debate is whether I would have been selected. They couldn't have put that particular label on. And the thing about it is quite talk up is the problem of classification. And we have a book in mind that in the context not of national other or racial other or gender other, but then the follow. There's a very good article which is